All right, good afternoon, Commissioners. Tatiana Gonzalez, Planning Commission staff. This presentation is a status update on the WVR-2 land use study and the community plan update. It is an information-only item. This map highlights the Wimauma Village Residential-2 study area in purple. WVR-2 is a future land use category specific to the Wimauma Village Community Plan area. And this land use category is currently under a moratorium for new rezonings, and this study is evaluating the employment and service requirements associated with the category. The objectives of the study include updating the Wimauma Village Community Plan, developing a strategic action plan to revitalize downtown Wimauma, and providing policy recommendations for the WVR-2 plan category. The WVR-2 land use study itself will be completed by the University of South Florida's Center for Community Design and Research, which is the research division of the School of Architecture and Community Design. Parallel real estate market analysis and community profile will be completed by WTLNA. This analysis is informing the WVR-2 land use study and ensuring that the final recommendations are grounded in market and economic realities. And working with the Planning Commission throughout this process are several Hillsborough County departments comprising the project management team, staff from Economic Development, Development Services, and Community and Infrastructure Services have been with plan progresses. And the team is now engaged in policy discussions and evaluating the consultants' recommendations, initial recommendations. Now, as part of the ongoing real estate market analysis, WTLNA prepared a few preliminary data points that we were able to share with the land use study consultants and the community. More than half of housing developments in Wimauma are owner-occupied. However, 39% of the current housing inventory is only mobile homes, and housing vacancies in Wimauma are quite low, showing that housing is a major need in the area. Agriculture is a main employment center in Wimauma and accounts for 32% of all jobs. However, only 67 new jobs have been created in a 10-year period. The current jobs to population ratio in Hillsborough County as a comparison shows that there are 44 jobs for every 100 residents in the county. However, in Wimauma, there are only 11 jobs available for every 100 residents. Now, although the population in Wimauma has increased from 2006 to 2017, available employment remains low, which is prompting nearly 2,700 residents to leave the area to work daily. Now, a number that has also increased significantly in the last decade. Now, these statistics reinforce the critical importance of net new job creation in Wimauma. The public engagement and planning process for this study follows the 7-step community plan update process, which requires a public notice to be sent to all residents within the Wimauma community plan boundary. Now, we held the first open house in Wimauma in March to introduce the study team and to explain the land use study to the community and the community plan update process. And this was followed by a 3-day charrette in which the USF team gathered input from the community through a hands-on design workshop. Now, the attendance at these events was very high, with more than 200 people attending the open house and the charrette. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, staff had to move public engagement to an exclusively virtual platform. Now, during the month of April, staff held a virtual workshop on the agency website and created an online survey in both English and Spanish to gather additional input from the community, and we actually received 100 survey responses. Staff is currently planning a second virtual open house, and that is anticipated later this summer. Now, based on the community outreach that we have had and the community input we've received, the project has developed some initial recommendations, and we've started the process of creating and modifying policies in both the comprehensive plan and the land development code. And some of these recommendations include appropriate increases in density to incentivize development in downtown Wimauma. As an example, through the voluntary use of transfer development rights from Balm to Wimauma. Another recommendation stemming from the real estate market study is the refinement of the job housing ratio in response to market reality and best practices, which could potentially decrease the required commercial square footage requirement. We are also exploring alternatives to the employment requirement, such as the provision of infrastructure improvements to promote mobility and appropriate employment siting. Finally, standards for residential development to include street network design and the expansion of open space requirements to include specific conservation and agricultural uses. Now, additional language will be provided for land development code text recommendations, and those are forthcoming, and it will include language for a proposed downtown overlay in Wimauma. Since the consultant, based on feedback from the community, has proposed moving the actual downtown core further east from its current location along SR 674, and also extending it north and south of 674. So our next steps are to hold the second open house, and we will be renoticing all the residents within the Wimauma community plan boundary. And the consultants will then provide their policy recommendations, and we'll have public hearings, which are expected sometime in the summer. And the final adoption is expected in the fall. Now, based on the Board of County Commissioners hearing on the 6th of this month, the moratorium may be extended, and additional information will be provided in June as to the length of that extension. All the materials from our outreach events and additional information regarding the study, such as the scope or the project timeline, are available on the Wimauma project page on the Planning Commission's website. We have included an email sign up for anyone who'd like to receive project updates as well. This has allowed us to actually stay in touch with the community during this time when we're unable to actually be present in the community to engage them. So the link that we've created is a bit.ly link to make it much easier for anyone to access our project page. And this concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from commissioners? I'll give you guys a second. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One question that I had, and I can't find the slides that you just had, so I'm sorry here on my computer. But you mentioned that has the decision already been made to shift the downtown core of Wimauma, or is that what the study is going to be looking at? Recommending that happen. That's my first one.
Okay. The decision to move downtown is not definite. It's been a discussion that we've been having with the consultant and with county staff to talk about the feasibility of doing so. It just came out of the outreach with the community in regards to the safety issues along 674 and actual access along that corridor. So it's not finalized. It's still a draft map that we have currently. So yes, so we're still in discussions about the feasibility of moving the downtown and having it move toward a more north-south Main Street than having it along 674.
Okay, so by the map here, the portion that is in the purple, is that where the current downtown is, or and then like the blue is where it would be shifting? Just so I understand.
So the current downtown is pretty much along 674. There are a number of businesses along 674. There are a lot of properties though that are privately owned, that are owned by the Church of God. So, and it's specifically for their use. So the community felt that it would be better to have an area where they could actually have more businesses, specifically like the Dollar General and some of the other types of businesses that they already have, like restaurants, and creating more of a core in that area rather than extending it all along 674.
Okay, because like I guess a concern I have, if that really is going to be, is that if I remember serves me correct, aren't we building a new middle school and high school like right there on 674 that's going to be opening up for the next school year? Like, I don't know how like it's fully going to shake out with with the plan for the downtown to be right, in that area, but it doesn't seem like that's a good place for me to have a ton of businesses, right there around, where you're going to have, teenagers, being there every single day for, a good portion of the year.
Sure. So the new schools, I believe, I think the new schools will be closer to further south, outside of the map, I believe, are the two proposed locations of the school. Currently, they only have 2 elementary schools, Wimauma Elementary, which is in this general area. I don't know if you can actually see my cursor. Let me see if I can draw. There we go. So here in this area is one school, and then we have the other school up in this area. Right here actually is Reddick Elementary School. So I think the new locations for the schools are outside of this area.
Yes, the 2 that are set to open, Commissioner Powell, are on 672, which is just north. I'm trying to think of it. It's the east-west road to the north of Wimauma. It actually will show up in some of the BALM maps, I think, that Mary Ann's going to be showing. So those are the ones that will be opening in August. And then the school district, it's my understanding, are actively looking at some school sites in the Wimauma area, but to our knowledge, they're not in the downtown.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And I guess my last question would be, are we going to be adding or looking to add any more density? Is that going to be considered to help the overall like redevelopment of Wimauma?
Yes. So in order to incentivize development in downtown Wimauma, one of the policies that we're looking at is potentially increasing the density that would be permitted in the downtown core. So that's one of the things that we're actually talking about right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Give them a second. Any other questions, comments?
I don't see anybody else unmuting themselves at the moment.
Okay.